Welcome, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Thank you for your condolences on the feed here. Yeah, tough. It's one of the hardest things I think that you can do. I mean, I losing a pet. Mark, you just lost a cat not that long ago.
I did, my little JoJo.
Yeah, and George, did you have a dachshund that you lost? Did your dachshund?
I had two dachshunds. They're both gone, and after that, my wife left me, but she's still alive.
Okay. Yeah. It's you know what the hardest, I'm finding the hardest, and the last dog that we had to put to sleep was Renee's Pomeranian, and she was old. She was, I don't know, 15, but she was, just couldn't walk and all that kind of stuff, and it was sad. But I don't remember and even when I had my Shepherds and my other dog Annie, I don't remember being this devastated. I'm absolutely devastated. And I think the part, Mark, here's the part that bothers me the most.
Okay.
Is, did I fail him? Did I not take him to the vet early enough? Did I not, you know what I mean? The questions that you ask yourself, if I'd have done this, would have been that. If I'd done this, maybe I could have saved him. You know what I mean?
You know what? Everybody does that. I did it with JoJo, and even though kept him alive for about a year, you can't do that because whatever happened, you didn't know, and even if you did, would they still have had to move on? I mean, you can't. It will drive yourself crazy. I even think about the night before. He looked fine. He jumped on my bed. The next morning, he didn't wake up. Was he in pain? I'm mad. Going, should I have?
The other thing. Did they suffer? That's the other thing. That's the other thing, right? Did they suffer? And I don't know, because they're so stoic all the time.
Well,
Scott,
animals are really good at not showing.
Yes. What, George?
I spent a lot of time with you and Renee and Bailey and Bugsy, and the guy was a cool dude, and he had a lot of fun with you. It was always, he looked like he was smiling. I don't know if dogs can smile, but he had fun.
Bugsy didn't like you much, George.
Yeah,
I do remember that. He used to growl a lot.
Anyway, what were you going to say, Mark? And then we'll wrap it up with what you wanted to say.
No, I was going to say that they have a way of not showing when they're in pain, so you don't know. But the truth is, I think, they let you know, and I think Bugsy let you know at the point where you had to rush him. I don't think you should feel guilty. You took care of that dog. You did, and you rushed him in and did everything you could, and at least he was comfortable as much as they could have made him. So
anyway,
don't beat yourself up.
No, okay, all right. I'm going to compartmentalize that and get on with it. Before we get into let's talk about the topics. I have a question I'm going to ask. Is the first one, and then we're going to get back to it at the end of the show. The second topic is making. I don't know if this really applies to us, but making new friends when you're old. All right. The next topic will be jury duty, and then smartphone. If we're living without a smartphone, if you can get to it anyway. So I have one request from a company out there, Entenmann's, the donuts. I have a request, Entenmann's, if you're watching. I love Entenmann's. My daughter and I love Entenmann's chocolate donuts, and we drink it with a glass of milk. But every time I buy them, they're stuck together because it's hot here in Florida. So is there a way that you can fix that for me? Because I buy them and then I can't eat them because they have to have a little bit of crunch to them, or else they're not as delicious as okay. Anyway,
there's nothing crueler than that.
They what?
There's nothing crueler than that.
Nothing cruel than a bad donut. They're delicious, but they're all stuck together. And
that was a crueler joke.
Donuts on the
the cruller or the twisted donut.
Cruller.
Corolla.
Oh, George, you can't start this soon.
Oh my
Please.
God. All right. Here's the question. Here's a question I'm going to ask. And we kind of talked about a similar thing. I think it was last week or the week before. And you got to think about it. You got to think about it through the whole show as we're going along. We'll get to other subjects. The question is this. If you only had 24 hours to live, what would you do? Think about it. All right. And we'll get back to this. Mark will jump in, George will jump in, I'll jump in, and we'll see where that goes. All right. So describe old, making new friends when you're old.
You could just take a picture of me.
Okay, but Mark, you have a lot of friends.
Well, it's interesting because it pertains to, how you said, we should move to Florida. When you move to Florida, it's a great state. Politics
hang on. Don't answer the questions yet, guys. Don't answer the questions. We'll get back. Think about it, because people are saying go to the beach. I'm going to go to the beach. All right, go ahead.
I have my wait. I was going to.
Uh-oh.
I don't really have any family, so I'm going to drive to Florida, a strange place.
Can't drive to Florida, Mark. You're frozen, Mark. You're frozen.
Am I? No,
your camera's frozen.
Yeah. All right, George. If you making new friends, you remember Ron from the lounge? See, okay. So if you're an older person and who said nobody wants to make friends with me because all my friends are dead, and who wants to make a friend with a guy who might die in the next year or two? Who said that?
That's an interesting.
I said that. Am I still frozen?
A little bit. Yeah, go ahead, George.
Oh, you hear me?
When I was going to high school and I'd have problems with my friends, I'd get really frustrated and it would hurt me. And I would sit at home. My dad would go, "Listen, man, you haven't met your friends yet. I thought these were like my friends." He goes, "Yeah, listen to me. You have these people. You haven't met your true friends yet." And you know what? He was right. But I find when I'm not. I find that I'm always trying to meet new people, and some of them I make friends instantaneously. I feel like you make a connection with them. Mark, you might want to restart. You're very blurry. You might want to reset.
Can you
hop off, Mark? Hop off and get back on.
Let me try. Okay.
Go ahead, George.
So I have an open mind, an open heart, and open arms every day when I meet people. That's one of my things that occurs every day. I'm not looking for good friends every single day, but I meet plenty of people all the time, and I'm not worried about as long as you got a handful to spend your time with. That's fine with me.
Yeah, but you're making acquaintances, George. You're not really making friends. See, that's why I think if there's like a destination, you might not smoke, but maybe you can take it up if you're 90 and you don't have anywhere to go. Seriously, you walk into a cigar lounge and see, for me, when I see, if I see an old person in the lounge, or I want to talk to that guy, because that guy's probably got some amazing stories and some good advice. And we as a culture, I think we just, we dismiss old people, right, George? We dismiss them.
Well, a lot of people do, but I actually look forward, and I kind of learned a little bit from you when I sit down with Joel or I sit down with Ron. They have great stories and things to tell us from. Let me see, Mark. Give me a minute. I tried to
testing.
There you are.
Am I back?
Barely.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No doing sound checks during the live show. Man. You missed your sound check.
No, you can hear me, right?
Yeah. George, finish what you were saying.
I'd like to sit there and pick their brain and spend an hour talking to them, and you never know what you're going to hear. Especially people that I've found people that have been served in the army or in the military and come back and tell you some of their stories that they don't often people don't ask them. So I find that very fascinating.
How about we met Ted White.
Yeah.
How old was he when we met him? 88,
89, 87.
No.
Yeah, whatever. He died at 93, 94.
But yeah, but we know. But anyway, this was an old stuntman. I think we talked about him once. This was an old stuntman who doubled for Clark Gable and John Wayne, and the stories he has he passed away. He was the first guy on Iwo Jima.
Yeah.
You know, he lied about his age to get in the war, and the amount of information that guy had was overwhelming, right? I mean, 90 something. He was a creature of the Black Lagoon in the first movie.
But that's for us. My thought is, who wants for him all of his long-term friends? I mean, look how long we've known each other. People you've known 20 years, 30, even 10, 15. You go to a new place, you're an old guy, and new people, you don't have any history. You don't have the familiarity. You don't have the trust, the honesty. It takes years to develop. I have a friend, Nick. I met him in 1982.
Well, okay, so we got to define friend then.
Well, what I'm saying is, it gets very lonely if you're an older guy trying to make new friends, because you know, who wants to, you know, make friends with an old guy? My friend Nick said that he used to take a walk in Pacific Palisades, and there was a guy who was like 91 or 92, sit on his porch, and, you know, in his 50s. And guys, my wife died, my kids died, and I'm all alone, and nobody wants to make friends with a 90-year-old. So he sits and just talks to people as they walk by. But who wants to go out and hang out, you know?
No, but that's my point. Then it's up to him to go and hang out.
No, but who wants to? I mean, the guy said, you take him to dinner, he might have a heart attack and die. I want him in my car, get to the restaurant.
You know,
but you know, the idea, who wants to, I'm saying, people, you know, I find it great with the wisdom, like we have, who's our guy that we talk to all the time? He just turned 90, 91, you know.
Right.
Lalone. He's a great guy. And we get stories from him. So I find it fascinating, but I think it's very hard to make friends once you hit a certain point in your life.
You got to define friends. I mean, I don't know what you
trust
mean.
People you can trust, that you know you can call. They would bail you out of jail. I mean, long-term, good friends, acquaintances. But I find that most young people, when I was young, I didn't want to hang out with older guys that much. I mean, real old guys, you know,
like you.
No, it's odd because
guys like you.
When I would see, if Ted White was in the shop, I would go sit next to him. Like when he was alive, he was my favorite guy to visit with when we would smoke together. I loved his fascination, and he ruled the shop. He was like, somebody's on the cell phone, he'll shut it down right away. If you're on a
but you know, it's interesting though. You know what we couldn't do with Ted? What we couldn't do with Ted is we couldn't be 100% because of the respect and his age. You know, when we get together, we have a few drinks. No, but think about it. You know, we make jokes that, you know, probably we wouldn't make around women, probably wouldn't make around older people, you know, and Ted, you know, there was a certain decorum because they're old school, I guess is what I'm saying. And I think they're, you know, I remembered always having to be guarded about doing a mother joke, doing a this, which could crack us up. But, well, you know,
you do mother jokes? Why would you be so disrespectful?
Well, only to my mother, nobody else's.
Never mind.
He tried to see this, but this is what I mean. Scott tried to catch me, but you know what I'm saying. And also, you know what I do find? You
talk to everybody differently. Every person you talk to George different than you talk to me. I talk to George different than I talk to you, right?
No, but I mean, as far as humor and as far as being open with each other, we're sort of in the same tribe. Once you get people in, you know, that are, you know, older women, we talk much differently if women come into the cigar lounge than we would talk amongst ourselves. So I think that happens with a big age gap. I'm talking about a big age gap.
Well, here's something interesting from CM63.
That's why I put it up.
You think you have friends till you lose your spouse, and then they all scatter like bugs.
That's interesting.
Same exact experience. I was shocked. that happened. People,
Oh, really?
they chose one side or the other, and then
They usually do.
Oh, and there was no side when they, I saw that happen, and I was like dumbfounded.
Well, I chose your wife. I went to
mean-
her side.
Well, that's all right, but there were no sides. But they left. One of them left, and then ultimately they both left. And I'm like, gosh, you guys were like, I thought my own family, not even friends.
I've heard that. I have heard that before, and I'm not surprised because I guess they listen to the spouse bitch about the other one, and they did take sides, and
I didn't do that. I basically I needed their support more than ever. There were the two closest couples that were friends of ours, or I don't see them at all. And
yeah, that's sad. You're right, because you were good friends with them, but it happens.
I've lived it. I'm sure, Mark, you lived it too. I'm sure you had couples, friends that were married and they got divorced, and you had to. I guess you go with the person that introduced you to the relationship.
Yeah,
does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, a good friend of mine, been married 47 years. I met him on a TV show. His wife I've used in movies. She's a production designer. She's great. Friends with both of them, but I found when they divorced, it was very amicable and they're fine. I don't really talk to her or engage, but I engage with him. And it's not, I mean, if I saw her or she had to call me for something for business, I'd be fine. She's a sweetheart. But you do gravitate towards one or the other. And I think you're right. It's the one who introduced you.
on my case, that wasn't the case. Everybody gravitated, and I would too, for Gina over me, my ex-wife.
Well, everybody hated you, George.
No, but I how do you compete with that? She was a sweetheart.
Well, we didn't desert you.
But that's because she doesn't want anything to do with you guys.
Right, let me ask you this question. When you're not friends with somebody, you'll be friends with somebody, and then all of a sudden you don't see them anymore. You know what I mean? I don't ever really remember saying I don't want to be your friend anymore.
They don't.
Unless when I was 7, I might have said that. But
are you talking about in a divorce situation or just with any friend?
No. Different situation where you guys know this. You'll have ages in your life where there's this group of friends, then there's this group of friends, and then there's this group of friends, right? And as you get, and all of a sudden, for some, that is why I chat with you on all the podcasts. I feel you're more like true friends. I thank you, Pamela.
Pamela, we're your true friends.
Yeah, and Diane, Gia, you're right, Gmo, you're right. It's life, but I never really ended a friendship. I don't think.
You're right. I agree with you exactly. You just drift away to new groups or new people. And a lot of it is, it happens. It just happens.
Like when I met you guys, I had friends in like Studio City in Sherman Oaks, and I moved out to Woodland Hills, and then we became friends. And it's like, I don't mean that in a bad way. You just maybe you outgrow those people, or maybe
or you find. Your location's important. We all met at the cigar lounge and smoked every day. So you just sort of, others drift away, and
I guess so.
But you still have long-term that, right, that you'll always be friends with and you stay in touch with.
Yeah. But I understand what, George?
I didn't say anything. Somebody asked, I thought this was a good question. What about your Hollywood friends?
Oh, those are Hollywood friends.
There are no Hollywood friends.
Exactly right. Exactly.
If you have a show, they're your friends.
It is. You know what? It's such a ridiculous business. I mean, I've had deals at studios, and I knew the head of the studio or the network, and then when the deal and you're chummy with them, right? And as soon as the deal ends, gone.
Yeah,
they're gone. And it's like, wow. They won't even say hi to you. It's insane.
It happened to a friend of mine. He got a show on the air. They thought it was going to be a big hit, big network show. This is the 90s. It went 13, and they canceled it after 10 episodes. He said when he got it picked up, everybody called. The phone never stopped ringing. Everybody. The day it got canceled, he said, I came to my office. Nobody called. Nobody. Yeah. Agents didn't call. He said it was like It's a cliche, but it's true.
It's absolutely 100% true. 100%. So, look, it's just hard to make friends. It's hard to make good friends. It just is. And you have to really, unfortunately, I don't know what it was like back in the 30s, Mark, when you were in your 20s, but I don't know.
It was harder because of the phone system.
There was no phone system, right? You had
There were phones in the 30s, but they didn't work well.
But you had the party line. Anyway, so older folks, if you want to make friends, I guess go to a cigar lounge or something. You got to go where people hang out,
and you see every day.
Okay, which reminds me of another subject. Okay, hang on.
Yes.
A second. So yesterday, Bailey and I we're trying to get out of our heads about our dog, and we got invited to something. It was the showcase of these new condominiums they have here in Sarasota, right? And they're amazing, and they have bocce courts and pools and an area for dogs to walk, and they have a place where you can go and you can take over the restaurant, and the chef will cook for you. You know what I mean? It's like this. All the amenities were incredible, right? One actually had one of these condos had, if you have a 2-bedroom, if you have people come into town, they have like a hotel suite for them.
Oh, nice.
Wow. And all you do is pay for cleaning. Anyway, my point is this about making friends. So they do all these get-togethers, and that meantime the condo's $8 million, whatever. But amazing, overlooking the bay, amazing. And I said to Bailey, I wouldn't use anything. I'd try to play bocce probably for 20 minutes, and then I don't have a dog anymore, unfortunately. I wouldn't do anything. I'm not going to go meet. Hey, come on, you guys from 2B and 3B. I'm going to have somebody cook pasta tonight. We're all going to have a get together.
To be and not to be, or
yeah.
What did you say?
But you understand? Could you do that? Could you live in like a village, and you had common pools and common stuff where you hung out with other people?
George lives for that. Remember what George did?
Right.
We went to the cigar lounge, and I agree with you. We don't go to people and say, hey, let's be our friends. We were hanging out. We were all talking, and George kind of was there, and he introduced himself, and he sat with us, and he spoke. And I think the first time we met, you said, so you got 3 choices. Come to my house for dinner, smoke in my backyard. You put out a thing. Remember that? It was very sweet and very and we all looked at each other and go, who is this guy? We met him maybe 2 times. Do we want to go to his house? We don't even know where he lives. So it's funny. Most people don't do it. But George, you would get up early in the morning and knock on everybody's door and just go continue.
That's the magic hour. Get up before, when it's still dark out. You get so much done then.
Yeah.
George, you would do that? You would meet all those people at mixers and things?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't go to mixers. I just wherever I wound up being.
The one at the condo building, one of the condo complex.
I'd probably go to that. Yes.
George, you go to a grocery store and you will sit. We had to go get something and I couldn't find you. You're talking to somebody with a shopping cart for like 10 minutes. And then you introduce me and you just met him and you do that. But you're very unique about that.
I could not do it.
I know, me too.
I would travel with Scott on his one-man show. I'd be walking around talking whatever, and you could hear Scott in the back talking to Mark on his phone, going, "He's talking to me." He's talking to me.
I went to New Jersey, right, for the autograph thing with George, and we sat there, and he couldn't walk down the arena, whatever it's called, where everybody's there. He would stop at every booth and talk to everybody and then say, Mark, come meet this guy. I think he introduced me to what were the guys in the band, the gay band?
YMCA, Village People?
Yeah, Village People. He kept wanting to introduce me to all the Village People. Well, they were great guys, but it's like, George, I just want to go get a drink. I don't want to stop at every booth that you meet. Yeah, he does that.
Abe Bandini said George is America's next door neighbor.
That's funny. We should do a sitcom. We talked about doing a sitcom of George's character.
We did.
You know, where he won't move out of the house. Oh, it was about you getting divorced,
Yes.
and the new people bought the house. Your wife leaves and everything, and you don't leave the house that you sold to the new people, and you become their friend. It was actually funny.
It was actually It was actually fun. It wouldn't be you, George, because you got fired from the meeting. So
I would release the copyright to you if you do that.
all right. Anyway, I just sort of found that interesting, that condo thing. It was pretty cool, actually. I mean, whatever, and boat docks and all that. All right. Next subject. Has anybody out there, any of you guys been called for jury duty? Anyone? Mark, you ever get called for jury duty?
Well, I can't say it live, but yes, I've gotten some of the jury duty notices.
Okay.
But they don't come registered, and sometimes they can fall out of the mailbox and you don't find them.
Well,
if you know what I mean.
Okay. Yeah, I've actually called, and hey, Beth, I actually called and they dismissed me. I said, you know why? Everybody's guilty. I don't care. Everybody's guilty.
Oh, did it work? You used that?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I would actually like to serve on a jury, and you're right, George. I would find it, but it's the idea of having to go down to Van Nuys, hang out.
Mark, you would love it. You would actually.
I know, but I don't. And then you could be on a trial for 2 weeks, and I have stuff. I got to take care of my cat. I'm sort of. It's an inconvenience for me. If there was a way to do it.
3 jury.
I know you. Well, again, you spend all day talking to the other jurors and meeting people. I don't. Most people I know
just
ignore them, and they don't. They're not going to come after you. And if they do,
on some kind of schedule wherever he goes during the podcast.
And if they do come after you, I would.
Mark got called for the Lincoln assassination.
That was interesting. I wanted to serve on that jury. Okay, who wrote that? That's hysterical.
That's brilliant.
My God, we should hire this guy or girl. That's funny.
I missed the name.
Most people I know don't want to serve because of the inconvenience. They make it tough, and you got to sit there all day. And
no, you know what's odd about it here. You show up at 10 a.m., you go to noon, and then they give you a 2-hour lunch. And I'm like, I don't want a 2-hour lunch. They're like, you don't want to get back in your car, and you're not going to.
Right. Where are you going to go?
A block or two. And I'm like, then you come back at 2 and you go to 4. I'm like, let's just do 10 to 2, but not have a lunch. I don't want.
That's the time for you to meet more people, George. You got 2 hours to walk around downtown LA. I get it. It's whatever.
But I was on a 3 trials, and one of them, the first one was a male prostitution trial, and it was weird because I lived at La Brea and Franklin in Hollywood because I could walk to I was working at Capitol and I could walk there from there.
We don't need to know that.
When they showed where this crime occurred, it was like 3 blocks away from me. And I said, "Oh my God, I live in a terrible neighborhood," because I thought it was a great neighborhood,
or a fun neighborhood.
Well, it was strange, but the second trial, I think
you did 2 trials?
He did 3.
3. But
he's going to tell us each one in detail.
No, this is interesting. Well,
I got to go.
I have experience at it, Mark.
Yeah, I got to go pee too.
You got to go pee, George.
Go ahead. Take your phone and follow along on your phone.
Right, go ahead.
The second one was
speed it up, George. Speed it up.
It taught me a lesson. Now I got a long way to go on this topic.
Right, go ahead.
Wow.
There's something else I want to talk about.
I'm sure.
There was a guy. When you're an alternate, you go in and you watch the whole trial. But then when the jury goes into the room, you have to wait for them outside the room. And it's really boring because you're sitting on a bench looking out the window the whole time. And so I watched the trial, and this fellow walked into a grocery store, and they had him on camera, security camera, where he pulled a bag out of his pants that was a brand of the grocery store. If it was a Ralph's, if it was whatever, he brought a Ralph's bag with him and pulled it out and put food in it and walked out the door. So it looked like he had paid for it.
Yeah, we got it.
So the judge said, did he do this? Is he guilty or is he not guilty? That's all I want to know from you. Nothing else from the jury. And they went into the room and they came out and they said, they told me that they thought he was not guilty. And I said, how could you do that? They haven't won. And they said, well, it's his third strike and they're going to send him to jail. And I go, that's not your job. Your job is
exactly.
not.
Wow.
Is he guilty or is he not? And they go, well, we didn't want to send him to jail. And I go, you guys are terrible jurors.
I've always said you probably should have professional jurors.
They'll unionize. It'll be a whole deal. You can't have professional jurors.
Oh, they're not practical.
Mark, you gotta bounce off again, Mark. I don't know what's wrong with your Wi-Fi. You're gone again.
But
wait, George. So what happened? What was the outcome?
They told him they gave their decision to the judge, and I don't know if they told him that they had considered the punishment instead of considering did he do this, and it kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. Like he didn't. Wow. It was obvious that he was guilty, but
yeah,
the third one which I just did last week was a elderly woman that was charged with solicitation, and I was looking at like, oh my God, I felt bad for her,
but they convicted her, didn't they?
Well, no, what happened was we came in for the morning, and there was a lot of potential jurors there. And then when we came back after lunch, they said that the presence of potential jury there helped them to actually resolve it, which means she probably took a whatever, I don't know, Mark's expertise would be helpful for a plea bargain or something, because she saw that there were dozens of people waiting to get on a jury to convict her or not, or find her innocent.
Well,
but I'm going to go into something else if you don't mind, since Mark's gone and
okay, go ahead.
I kind of connected jury duty to well, let me see if he's back here. Going on a spiritual sense, Mark, you're back? Yeah, but you got to go landscape, man. Your portrait.
Yeah, I know. I'm on my phone now, so give me a second. Okay,
go ahead, George. Stop talking, Mark. You're disrupting George's role. He's rolling.
I connected jury duty a little bit spiritually to you don't get a chance of a jury trial when you're at judgment, but you get a
hi, Cynthia Landis.
I'm sorry.
I said hi, Cynthia Landis.
Oh, well, what I wanted to say was I've kind of lived since I've been divorced a prodigal. Not the prodigal son, but a prodigal ex-husband life. I feel like I've been intentionally sinful or not evil. That's a good one. But I got to the point where I actually like to go to church and I like receiving communion, but I didn't feel like you could just walk in from living a wild life and then go, okay, I'm back. And to me, I wanted to put a bookend on it. So I went to confession in order to be ready to go back to church and take communion. And confession has changed, and I don't like it. I haven't been there in a long time. Scott, you can look at me and laugh.
I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I swear, I'm trying to follow you. I don't know you.
So I went to confession so I can go back to church and feel good about taking communion.
Jury duty made you go to confession.
No, it made me realize. Well, I was thinking about this anyway, but it made me realize that there's a bigger judgment. And this is like it's a more rash one. But
have I frozen up again because I want to get off?
No. But I want to tell you how confessions changed, and I don't like.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. I walked in the church, and there was a priest on the left side. It was a big church on the left side. Face to face hearing confession, and on the right side there was another priest, and
giving us the location
sitting in a pew. So I went up to him and I said, "Is this the line?" And he said, "Yes." So I sat next to him because that was the line to go to confession. And the guy on the right side was there forever. So I get in line and I go to the left priest and I go up and I go, "Is this the express lane, 5 sins or less?" And I thought I would crack him. I didn't stone face, didn't say anything. So I sat down with him.
Kind of like us.
And I told him, it's been a long time, and I feel like I've been not the person I am inside. So he goes, I was waiting for penance. I wanted a punitive act so I could do something. And he said, we don't do that anymore. And I go, what do you mean? And he said, well, when people would tell us our sins, he goes, we kind of had a cheat sheet.
George, are you serious?
What did they do?
What do you go? You beat such detail.
Mark, I'm going to take you on a second. Mark,
Go ahead, George. Finish.
So
we're doing a podcast, George.
There's a point to this. So he said,
get to it.
Everything I would ask him, he would say back, surrender your life to Christ. And I go, I am here. I believe this. I just want you to tell. I need what I'm used to. And he wouldn't tell it to me. So I didn't like it. I wanted a punitive action. But then since I was in there last week, I talked about swear words. So I asked him if goddamn was the only swear word because I wanted to know. And I explained my thinking. And he said, you are compulsive, which is true because he goes, how you came in here to ask me that. And then he said, technically you're right, but what we care about is how it makes the other person feel. So if you inflict harm or hurt on someone saying other words, it still counts. So
George, you've lost everybody on this podcast.
I bet everybody watching this understands what I'm saying.
But George, this is a completely new thing.
No, that's very good, but I'm done now.
Are you going to wrap it up? Are you going to get to a point?
Well, no, I'm wrapping it up as I told my team in another
Make
decade.
it stop, Scott. Make it stop. Whenever George is smoking, I want some.
I think George has drank a little more than he usually does.
No,
George, you lost the room.
God,
Everyone hit the like button now.
Anyway, I'm done.
Thank God. Oh,
They're watching TV now, George.
I don't know what you said, so I don't know if you're done.
Wait. I got a backer right here. Laura helped.
Yeah, one. All right, let's get the hell off that subject. Oh my God.
Wow.
He didn't lose the room. He lost his mind. Oh, this is good. I need to laugh.
Nobody's going to want to go out with me now.
Oh, God.
But George, I'm really glad you told us exactly what position you sat in and where the priest was. The location that you gave is wonderful. We tell where everybody is.
Oh, the topic was jury duty. And
Yeah.
we ended up at a Catholic church talking about priests and the new confession. I don't mind the ramble, George, but let me fix that story. I went to jury duty. I felt bad about myself. So I went to church to confess, and confession is totally different. Yeah. And here's what confession is. It's this, and that's the whole story. And
we didn't have to know where the priest, what side he was sitting on, what side you were sitting on. We need to go through this, George.
You're a pisser. Honest to God. Okay, you guys should have a sitcom now. Wow. That is crazy. All right, can we go to the next topic, George? Are you done?
Yeah, and I won't even comment on the smart. Well, actually, I have something to say on this.
Well, I bet you do. Did you bring your smartphone to the confession?
I had it tuned off.
Let's hear about that.
This is kind of we might even. Could you live without a smartphone? Could you get through? Of course you could. Of course you.
Well, we did for years.
Yeah, but now
today, hard.
Why?
Hard to do. Because you want to know the truth, wherever I am, I check my email and I get texts. That's how I conduct business or friends. Texas. I get, so I'm saying
Texas. So, but
yeah, I mean, right?
I get. Well, it depends. I mean, if can I tell you the truth? If I didn't have, if a cell phone didn't have maps in it, I'd probably get rid of my smartphone.
If it didn't have what?
Maps, like GPS.
Oh, GPS you have to have. Yeah.
I'd probably get rid of and get a flip phone. That's probably.
But here's the thing. How do you communicate? I'm running late or meet at the cigar store. I mean,
you can text. That's all you need.
Yeah, well, that's really inconvenient. I mean, ABB, CCC, we did it, but
Well,
you can't.
I don't know. I don't. I just all I know is I leave my cell phone everywhere I go, and I leave it in my car constantly. And I think it's a subliminal thing that I want to get rid of it.
Oh, it absolutely.
And I mean leave it. I mean leave it, and I forget about it. It drives my kid crazy.
Dangerous.
Yeah, I know. But George, what did you want to say about the smartphones?
When I got my last phone, I tried to get only a phone, nothing else. I didn't want it to do anything but be a phone. And at that point, I couldn't find one. I know they have them now, the flip ones and things like that, but I just wanted a cell phone that had no other features on it, and I couldn't find one that was just a phone.
That's it?
Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
Wow.
That's all you.
Well, that I balanced out the last subject, and then now I'm like, great. I split it between those.
No kidding. That was very informative. But okay, thanks, George. So I think the answer to that is no. You can't live without a smartphone, and that's unfortunate. I tossed my mother-in-law's cell phone. Charles in Charge said that. You tossed your mother. What did David Price say? He went up too high. Anyway. Patty Narrow, Consumer Cellular, way too hot in Florida. Leave your phones. I don't know what that means. Your smartphone conversation with George will turn into a King Tut dissertation.
Somebody's asking about. They were happy that you spoke to Tyrus. Did you want to say anything about that?
Yeah, sure. Tyrus said something about me that wasn't cool on the Gutfeld show, and I made a video to respond to it. And then he was hosting a radio show on Fox, and we got on and talked about it, and it was fine. I mean, it was fine. We straightened it out, and I don't know Tyrus from a hole in the wall, and we're good. We're good. There's no sense reliving it. But I made that video and it got a lot of mileage. So I just did it to do it. I didn't do it for mileage. Anyway, Tyrus dodged me? Oh, I don't know if he dodged me, but what cigars you guys smoking? Somebody wants to know.
This was a present. There's no label on it. I don't know.
I get this. It's the house. It's called a barber pole at a cigar place I go, and it's a really good one. And it's relatively cheap for a cigar. It comes to about $8, and that's for a really good cigar. That's a good price today.
How long you been smoking, Mark?
Gosh, from late 70s, early 80s. Say 80.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it relaxes me. You don't inhale. You don't. The COVID thing. Are we going to do that later?
That's a letter.
Okay.
So Rockchild wants to know how many times does Fox ask me to come on a lot. They ask me occasionally, and a lot of times I'm just, I don't know if I don't know the topic or I don't like the topic. I'm not gonna, there's no point. I'm like, don't waste your time on me because I don't know. I don't have enough information on it, and but I appreciate it. They're always pretty good to me. All right. So what, George? What's next?
Are we going back to this 24 hours?
Oh, let's go back to the question.
Yeah.
Thank you. I forgot about it. I'm quite honestly, folks, I'm not 100%. I'm just not. So please forgive me if I was going to bail on this tonight, but we commit to it and it's a good distraction for me. And I hope you guys are enjoying it, even though George absolutely killed it. And I mean in a bad way about, what was that, 2 hours ago that he started talking, Mark? Was it?
I think so. Yeah.
Anyway, so the question I asked was, if you had 24 hours to live, what would you do? Thank you, Renee Hinkle. What would you do? Mark.
See, I think, as I said when it first came up, if you really are going to go in 24, I think you'd be so upset, miserable, panicked. What are you going to do? Go to the beach and walk to the beach? I mean, I guess you'd probably sit with your loved ones.
What are you going to do? What
Me?
will you do? What
I'd
would
probably
you do?
sit. I'd probably sit with my cat, or I'd call people to make sure my cat was taken care of, and so I didn't leave him alone.
That's it.
And
That's all you would do.
well, what? I'm gonna go to
I don't know.
go to Disneyland. You're gonna be so depressed. You only got 24 hours. I would literally, I would just say, what's the point of doing anything? You know, I'm gonna go to another place. So yeah, no, that's a depressing question.
Wow, but that's a horrible answer. That's an
Well,
absolutely
but I think it's a fake. And if anybody says, "Oh, I would go to Magic Mountain and ride a roller coaster," I think that's
maybe,
you
maybe
go to a
you'd
nice
want to
dinner.
maybe you'd want to sit with your friends. Maybe you'd want to buy your friends dinner. Maybe you'd want to
No,
have
no,
one
too
last
expensive.
moment.
Too
What?
expensive. Well, I always said this: how does a condemned man eat a lobster and steak and a last meal, and you read about
I
what
think
they
that's
eat?
all movie stuff. They don't eat. They don't eat.
No, they do. No. I there's a site. They absolutely get lobster. They get things. They get cheeseburgers. How do you? Your stomach would be so upset. You're going to die in 3 hours. So I'm just saying, for me. But what would you do, Scott? Let's get off me.
I would sit down with my wife and Bailey, and I would say to them, "You can ask me anything you want to ask me. I have 24 hours to tell you everything about me. Not because I'm the most important guy in the world, but I'm pretty important to them." And I would have my brother and sister fly out. So because I don't want to spend 6 hours on a plane of my 24. And I'd have my brother and sister fly out, and I don't know, talk to them, tell them all the things that I think, tell Bailey what I think she needs, information she needs to know. That's probably what all I would do is just talk to my family. I would just talk to them, and how many times can I say I love you? I'm going to tell you, here's what I think about this, and when this happened, and here's who I've become. And Bailey, what is it that you really want to know about me? Renee, what do you really, there's always stuff you want to know about people. And for some reason,
and how much of that would you not tell them?
I tell them everything. No. I would probably tell them everything.
Well, I can see it with a family. See, now I don't have a family, so in your case, I would imagine you'd sit with your loved ones. So that makes sense to me.
Yeah, and I would pray, and I would I would go to confession with George.
I got a recommendation for you. I could put in a good word for you.
You know what? I would have George come over and tell me a story, because that would turn that 24 hours into 6 days. What would you do, George?
The only thing that comes to mind for me is I would want to spend time with my children. I don't. Yeah. They're independent, and they're kind of on their own, and they're all over the country, and I would like to actually spend it with them. I don't see them enough.
See, that's probably the number one answer, I bet.
Yeah. Well, I'm probably number one, but I'm sure number two is pretty interesting. What are you guys saying out there? Spend every second with my family, including my fur babies, Renee. Okay. When my husband was on hospice, I told him how now is the time to tell your mom where all the bodies are buried. Oh my God. Peter, what else are people saying? George wants to spend time with his ex-wife. Go to Disney World? Really, John? Really? Go to Disney World?
Really?
I mean, that's the last thing I would want to do.
I would think, how could you have fun?
No, okay. He wants to go to Disney. Maybe he's making a joke, but I don't. That's not. It's the last thing I would do is go to Disney World or Disneyland and waste my 24 hours there. I mean, that seems crazy. And yeah, Peter says he go tell his friends how they feel. You do have a lot of freedom within that. You have a lot of freedom in that. You can tell Binge on Charles in Charge. There's a tremendous amount of freedom in that. It's that show Breaking Bad, right?
Yeah.
You know what you could do is you could walk up to anybody you don't like and hit him with a bat. What does it? You know what I mean? What does it matter? These are horrible thoughts, but you could do you could do the things that you've always wanted to do within that within that time frame.
Yeah. Did George go to confession? Oh, there he is.
No, but you know what I mean. There are
Priest
things.
was calling me. I had to take it.
All right, there are things that you could do that you've always wanted to do. You know, Mark, you could call Steven Spielberg and say, listen, know what you should do? You should call Jennifer Aniston and say, Jennifer, I just want to come and say goodbye.
And she wouldn't take my call.
Yes, she would. Yes, she would. Mark Jones is dying in 19 hours, and he'd like to meet with you. He'd like you to marry him with a prenup so that you can't take anything, and then I'll die. You'll die as Mr. Jennifer Aniston.
You know, I don't think I'd put that burden on her. I think I would just sit with my cat.
Run up charge cards. Come on.
For what? Yeah, no, because your family would be stuck paying it.
Yeah. All right. Well, I would. There's nothing I would want to do. I'm not going to go play a round of golf. I wouldn't want to do that. I would just sit and talk and eat and, go to a restaurant and keep talking. I mean, that's
Do you think anybody will be working in that? Wait, do we all have 24 hours at the same time, or is it just our 24 hours?
No, individual.
Oh, all right. Got it.
Oh, no, you mean like the world?
Yeah.
No, individual. No, you just get, somebody walks around and says you get 24 hours to live. Okay.
Well, this has been uplifting.
Yeah, no, it's been, come on, it's fun. Guys, if you don't mind, can we just do the mail, George?
Let's do it.
I'm getting a little.
No worries.
A little.
Yep. Let's do it.
Smoke a cigar while eating.
Wait, you got to give me a minute. When I feel
go ahead, George. But
keep talking for a minute.
Big tombstone. I mean, I don't know, but I would get to see. How about this, Mark? You could prepare yourself to go see your cats and dogs. Oh, by the way, George, I have to tell you something. And I agree with you. I could not be more in disagreement with you on one thing. Dogs have. I don't know anything about any of their animals. Dogs have souls. They have a soul.
Yes. I respect that.
Okay,
dogs are very special animals.
I am telling you, my dog had a soul. He would look at me. Anyway, okay. What's the mail?
Yeah.
Okay, I need a minute.
Still, I'm going to cry.
Okay, let's come up with some comedy. Okay.
They do. I agree. Yeah, Colleen, we agree. Is that Colleen? All dogs go to heaven. Yeah, there's the Rainbow Bridge. I was telling George before we got on here. I think it was George or Mark, maybe both. So
Ready.
I've been. It was we were talking before we got on, and I've been telling people on the phone about what happened and this and that, with the dog, with Bugsy, and then like later in the day, like around I guess around 4:00 here, I was on my phone going on Instagram. I can't tell you how many on Instagram dog videos came up about animals passing, and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. So something is listening to me and then putting up those videos. Do you buy that?
I know that there are certain algorithms, like if you search things, obviously, but some people say they can hear you. I don't think Androids can. I know iPhones can, because you could just say, "Hey Siri," and an Android you have to push a button to ask it something. So I don't know. Maybe
it's too weird.
I
mean, poems about dogs. There's a wonderful poem, and I'm sitting in my backyard having a smoke, crying. You know what I mean?
First of all, you can't read the Rainbow Bridge. I read it after JoJo. You can't get through it. And the poems, I did. I went, it started to pop up, and I was looking at stuff. It destroys you. I mean, it's uplifting in the big picture, but it just destroys you.
Yeah. So anyway, George, you ready?
I am.
Algorithms can pick up what you're saying. Yeah, I believe that. Thank you, Lisa Smith.
All right, we're gonna go now.
All right, the mailbag here. Just an idea. Are you a beta male? I don't see it in the three of you. Whatever lady who goes out on this date with George. Oh, we have the date coming up, and I can't get to it tonight, guys. George is
Yeah.
going to be treated kindly and with respect. I'm just saying. So a beta male is
Yeah, what is it?
it's like is that wimpy guy? Is that like a wimp male?
You know, it's a strange. I mean, we have to compare it to alpha male, which is you understand what that is. But a beta male, I have a problem with the definition because if you want to put if you're with a woman and you want to put the female first, that doesn't make you a beta male. It makes you courteous. So if you're mushy because you're considerate, does that make you a beta male, or does that make
so beta is the opposite of alpha? It's like a weaker. Okay,
Yeah.
I think
an insult?
no. See, I think if you put a woman first, you could still be alpha. You're just taking
I
care
agree.
of things. So so if they say I tend to think most of the three of us are probably closer to alpha because number one, I'm very selfish, and I think that's an alpha thing. I do what I want to do, and I'll be nice if the girl wants to do it with me. But yeah, I don't let them lead. I have to drive.
So you're putting
stuff
out.
like
So
that.
you're alpha and beta.
Well, I don't think just being good to a woman is beta.
That's the issue. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure I subscribe to that 100%.
Mark, I thought you were going to say something about Betamax. I'm happy you didn't.
No.
Well, that's a good question. Yeah, you're right. Being a gentleman, does that make you a beta? I don't. I don't know. You can be alpha with your friends. I think with your wife, you just,
I mean, don't you sit at the table you want to sit at. If I go into a restaurant and I go with a girl, I want that booth or take me here. Or I don't necessarily ask her, where would you like to sit?
Oh, really?
Yeah, because but usually it's a nice table or it's a booth. So, and the girl wants that. I mean, the girl doesn't want to.
Sitting at the bar. You want to sit with me or not? That's what.
Yeah, you like to sit at the bar. But I'm saying if you're on a date or you're going, or even with my girlfriend, she knows that I like my tables. I take her to the table I want. The restaurant knows the table I like, and she's fine.
Yeah, but maybe she doesn't. Maybe she doesn't like it.
Oh, she'd tell me. No, they all like it. It's probably the best booth.
They all like it.
They like it because I'm an alpha.
For me, it's just easier. I walk in, I say, wherever you want to sit.
Yeah, but if they take you to a little table near the kitchen, you don't want to sit there.
It's wherever my wife wants to sit, and then it doesn't matter to me. So that's that being beta? No, I want my wife to enjoy her meal because she always somehow gets short.
No, that means married. That means married.
That's a good point, Mark. I agree.
Yeah, I mean, I guess marriage is different. I mean, but I had girlfriends I lived with, and they liked that I took control.
I like a man that is sensitive sometimes too. Did you ever see the movie Bedazzled?
It sounds familiar. I think I did, but I don't remember.
Brendan Fraser, where he plays the most sensitive man in the world.
I think so.
It's unbelievable. All right. Okay, so we don't know what we are. All right, next, George.
All right.
Thank you, Shell. Thank you, Shell Hottinger. Hottinger, good name. Great show. Keep up the good work, fellas. If you have a second, give a shout out to my wife, Lisa, who had her first chemo treatment today, battling breast cancer. I think she still has a secret crush on Scott from the days she had his poster hanging from her wall. Shoni Jones, and your wife's name is Lisa. Lisa, we pray for you. My wife is a 2 or 3-time cancer survivor. She had non-Hodgkin's, and then she had breast cancer, and I think I had it again. I don't remember. I try to block all that stuff out. But God bless you, and hi, and I appreciate you putting my posters on your wall. And what do you want? What?
We'll give good thoughts to you, Lisa.
Yeah, we'll say a prayer for you, Lisa. Thank you. And Shoni, was that the name?
Shoni.
Thank you for the letter. God bless you.
All right. Last week we were talking about how you treat yourself when you're sick. and this was in response to that.
My dad used to take whiskey for a cold. Yeah, sure, I remember that. Absolutely.
I remember that too.
Yeah, take what's a hot toddy? Is that tea and like bourbon?
Whiskey. Yeah,
Whiskey?
something like that. Well, don't you
My dad
remember
took
the Beverly,
whiskey for everything, whether or not he was sick.
the Beverly Hillbillies? Remember the jug? Anytime somebody was sick, Grandma got medicine. She called it medicine. That was very common.
We got one more, Scott.
Yeah, go ahead, George.
Yeah.
Whiskey. First, I love tuning into the podcast. Thanks for your time each week to share. Thank you for your time. Secondly, the last podcast you mentioned not getting COVID. There's an easy explanation. You smoke cigars, tobacco. Tobacco users were the lowest group to contract COVID due to nicotine. Nicotine has gotten a bad rap due to the pyrazines and other chemicals in the cigarettes that cause addiction, not the nicotine itself. The more you know about nicotine and its benefits, the more you want to have it handy at all times. Big Pharma doesn't want you to know about nicotine because it's a cheap alternative to their pricey meds. Have a great day, Janice. It's so interesting because I don't know if you guys remember this in France. I think they found that smoking prevents it. Did you hear that?
Yeah, no, we talked about this a few years ago. The cigar lounge, a guy came in and said the same thing about nicotine. And cigars are just tobacco. There's no chemicals in them. So you're getting just the nicotine. And they said, you guys will, it keeps you from getting COVID. So I have heard that before. So that letter is interesting. And you're right. The pharma would never let that out. The government doesn't want it known. But we've talked about that a few years ago. And that could be because none of us really that we know of got. So I think there was one or actually the two people I know that got COVID got the shots. Isn't that interesting? That were cigar smokers.
Yeah. I mean,
So,
please, whatever.
Yeah.
What a disaster that whole. I mean, can you remember that? How silly that all was. Just so
ridiculous. Such an overreaction.
I walked into the hardware store in Ventura Boulevard, and I'm outside in the garden area. They were telling me to put a mask on. I said, what the hell are you talking?
Wow.
Anyway, all right. Listen.
Hold on. We got. Do you want to? Are we gonna do this with your shirt, or is that not a?
Yeah, I guess we can. This one is. I guess we can. This is the Queen Mary.
All right, hold on. Let me put you back.
In Long Beach. Queen Mary and Long. I like this shirt actually. I like wearing it. It's very comfortable. Anyway,
if you want to get this shirt, Scott with the shirt off his back, it's $30 for the shirt and $8 to ship it, but he'll sign it for you for $50 on top of that. So
and it goes to our charity.
Is there anything on the back? I always forget that. I'm sorry. Is there anything on the back? No, red. Okay. So,
anyway, guys, sorry for the, been a rough couple of days. So thank you for watching and God bless all of you. I appreciate it.
Have a good night.
Good night, guys.
Whoop, sorry about that.